it's the most important thing, at least in my life. As a kid, I was just really into the California punk scene and all this stuff, and I was so amazed by the I don't know, just the energy and everything that was associated with it, and I just felt like I don't know, I needed to be as much of a part of this as I could. Yeah. And so yeah, I think it was just the desire to be closer to the music, than just listening to it. I don't know. Well, it's the whole concept behind, you know, Violent Emotion. It's just you know, people are driven to do madness and to violence and such horrible things, all because of emotions, love and hate and fear, and it all is part of being human, of course, but it also leads to, you know, doing things that are awful. I can definitely look back in my life and things that I've done and see, you know, okay, I've done this out of, you know, pure emotion, you know, no thought, no logic behind it, you know, it's something raw.
I like the word that you use, because I've been wondering a lot about the link that we as humans put between our natural selves and then this morality that we invent.
Yeah.
For example, the definition of relationships, because it seems to be so in conflict with natural ways that we feel, like attraction.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder why people even invented morality and what the use of morality is. Because it seems to make us suffer instead of help us along.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I think maybe morality is something that people have to invent in order to allow this complex society that we have to function, you know? Because if you go always based on your impulses and your instincts, you know, yeah, it's a really difficult question. I was afraid of you asking me difficult questions.
I'm sorry.
No, it's really hard to form like a really good answer to that. I think it's all just I don't know why. I think that yeah, it's something that a lot of people have to, you know, experience through, intimate relationships, friendships, you know, all of these types of things. It seems like betrayal is a common theme that runs through a lot of people's lives, and I don't know, it's and I think that betrayal is something that angers me or probably upsets me more than anything else, just because, you know, you have trust and time and whatever invested into friendships, relationships, and things like that, and then, you know, for whatever reason, you know, you feel like these people have turned their back on you, and that's something that I really, really, really don't like. The anger comes from the disbelief and the confusion, and so it's probably a result of the inability to properly process, you know, what's happening or what's going on.
Yeah. Are you still able to trust people because of betrayal or past experiences?
I think I'm smarter about who I trust, but I don't think that anybody should ever take you know, past experiences and use it to lay general rules about how to live your life. Say, you know, people who say that, oh, I've been hurt, I've been betrayed, I'm never going to trust anybody again, because it's just, this is part of being a person and being alive and having, you know, these relationships, because if you say I'm never going to trust anybody again, then you're really, you're trying to shut out a part of being a human that is, you know, I think a big part of it, and so I think it's important to, you know, live, love, laugh, feel, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's extremely important, but, you know, you learn from your mistakes and your decisions, but I don't think you should ever use them as a reason to cut any of that out, you know?
Yeah, I understand. What are the qualities in a person that you most admire?
I think I like honesty, integrity, and humor. I think I hate selfishness.
Selfishness. Yeah. How do you draw the line between liking yourself and doing things for yourself and the selfishness?
Well, who said I do that? Well, who said I'm perfect at it, you know?
I assume.
No, naturally not. If I was perfect at living my life, I guess I wouldn't have much to write about now, would I?
Good point.
I don't know. I think most of at least most of my life is just about, you know, trying to find that balance, you know? At least that's what I kind of feel is the whole meaning of life bullshit, is just to try to find the balance between finding yourself and who you are and having respect for the rest of the people that, you know, you have in your life that are affected by you.
Yeah.
So I think it's always a challenge, and it's something that I don't think anybody ever fully achieves, but it's the road, you know, to get there.
Yeah. In your song Sacrifice, do you feel like at a certain moment in time you are forced to change as a human being?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's. I think it's the same thing. It's always the road. I mean, you have very big events in your life that may change you in a very big way, and then you have the small things in life that change you in little ways. And I guess over time they probably build up and change. I think it's the small changes over time that make the biggest difference.
Do you choose to be yourself, or is it the events that mold you into who you are?
I don't know. I guess the whole Close to Human album was actually inspired by a magazine article I read that was just it was called I think it even said what makes you human right on the front of it, and it was just all these scientific things about nature versus nurture, and I thought that was a really, really cool idea, and I loved the article, and I reread it like dozens of times. I was like, wow, this is so fascinating. And their answer was that you know, it's a mixture of everything. But hell, this was in 2004. Who knows what we've learned in the last 5 or 6 years?
Yeah, that is true. But I guess that's one of the fascinating things, that we don't really know what's going to be there in the future and how much has changed over time. What are the things that most fascinate you?
Fascinate me. I love music. I love traveling. You know, I think traveling is my favorite thing to do. I love meeting new people, and I love saying cheers in as many languages as I can. I just kind of love immersing myself into you know, other people's cultures and traditions and stuff. I love that so much. I really do. The thing that I would love to do most is just to maybe go around like Asia or something for like months. You know, just kind of like backpack through there. I love astronomy. I love I love looking. I love documentaries about stars and planets and all that kind of stuff. And I love classic horror movies and lots of stuff.
Astronomy, where does that come from? Was it like?
I don't even know. Like as a kid, I think I was always fascinated by what I'm afraid of, because I'm afraid of heights.
Yeah.
I'm terrified of flying and planes and all of that stuff. So, and I'm afraid of deep water. So I love things about space, and I love things about the oceans. You know. So as far back as I can remember, I've always been completely interested in documentaries covering all things about, you know, ocean life and the ocean and space and all that kind of stuff.
The traveling aspect, have you seen lots of different cultures already and really been immersed in it?
In terms of Western world cultures, yeah, I have. I mean, I've been in Europe all over for the last couple of years, and you know, the culture shock that I felt, you know, just moving from, you know, America to Europe, that was so. It was so. I mean, I felt really like, wow, this is, you know, this is somewhere else, and I can only imagine what I would feel if I went to like New Delhi or something like that. I think it would just be a whole different level, and I'm dying for that. I would love that because I don't know. I'd like to see the world in as many ways as possible and from as many different perspectives as possible. So I don't think I've even scratched the surface.
But that, yeah, no, that's really fascinating to see that.
Yeah.
That's also one of the reasons why I do these interviews and why I ask these difficult questions.
Yeah.
Well, if you could choose what questions were being asked, what are some of the questions that you want to answer?
I would choose your questions because I really hate being asked like, oh, how long have you been making music, and how many, you know, just standard questions. What's your favorite color? Blah 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 blah. Because that's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, so I can go ahead with the more difficult questions.
How difficult are you gonna get?
Let me try. I can probably get more difficult.
Okay, give it a shot.
Let me think. Okay, I know one. This is because I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with Stefan from Apoptygma-Börse, and we were talking about the creationism religion. Have you ever been in touch with that philosophy and those ways of thinking, or?
Oh, if I've paid attention to all of this, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a die-hard atheist.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. And so you believe in the theory of evolution? And
yes.
And why?
Because it's the best guess we have.
Okay, I can respect that. But it's cool that you say it's a guess, because one of the arguments that Stefan had was, he said that it's taught to us as a truth, as a fact, and in that way he considered evolution to be a religion also.
Right.
Do you think that too?
I think that people need to be open to all information that is available, you know, and while I believe that evolution is a fact because it's supported by so much evidence, if new evidence came that was more overwhelming than evolution, I'd turn over on it in a second. Absolutely.
So you need evidence.
I need a reason to believe in something.
I used to think that too.
Okay.
But one of the things that I've discovered, especially in medicine, is that there are a lot of things that used to be unproven that get proven now. So, for example, in acupuncture, you have those energy, how do you say that, lines?
Yeah, like a flow chart. Yeah.
And before they weren't able to prove that. They could only say, okay, this works. But now they have a device that can actually show those energy lines in the body. So, what was my point again? So I was wondering, sometimes you can also lose out because you're waiting for evidence. You see what I mean? Sometimes I think you just have to go with a feeling. Okay,
that makes sense. You know, I know what you mean. But for me, is that my feeling is that there is nothing after this. You know, I was raised very, very religiously, and as I was young, when I'm young and I'm having my family say, okay, religion, God, this and that, at very young I started asking all these questions to my mom and my grandparents, like, are you sure? Are you serious? You really? And they're like, you're 10,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but I don't feel this at all. And so it was at a very early age that I just kind of was like, I don't understand this, I don't feel this. So, I think that, your example is a good one. And I think that people should always go with their intuition, and feel something, but they shouldn't ever be blinded by anything, You should never be unwilling to hear any other possibility,
Yeah.
And so, when people tell me, okay, there's a God and that, my disbelief in him is, wrong or whatever, it's not like if God came down, I would say, no, you're not real, It's just, this is kind of like my feeling and what works for me. Yeah.
Daniel, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
That was really great.
Bye, people.